Good morning, brilliant scholars. Welcome to Tuesday, day 58. Let's take a look at what's going on around the world and around our state. Let's start with our state on the lower left-hand corner there. That's Governor Evers. And yesterday he announced another small step forward in opening things in Wisconsin. One of the things that can now open are small businesses, mainly small businesses that are in, for instance, strip malls where they have their own individual door to the outside. One of the things that Evers talked a lot about yesterday is stores that have the ability to have people stand in line outside is a huge advantage to, let's say, malls where people would have to be gathering in larger numbers. Still not completely opened. I think it's only allowing about 5 people into some of these smaller stores to begin with, but I would think for a lot of those business that is a welcome relief. Now, on the flip side of that, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, as we look at some of the places around the world that have started to reopen, they are starting to see increases in cases, which probably isn't surprising. We know that the virus is still out there, so if we are going to mix people up in situations, certainly we're going to have more people infected. In South Korea, they have had a large spike in people who started to go back to bars and nightclubs. We've had issues in China with some of their cities have been shut down because of this, and I think Germany as well had some kickback from early release. So that's something that our leaders have to continually battle with. Where do we draw the line with what we should open and what we shouldn't open? Anthony Fauci, Dr. Fauci on the right there, yesterday talked about the football season, the NFL football season, which when they talk about this kind of scares me for our football season. But they had been mentioning that unless things get better, they don't see that as an option, as I think football may be one of the most perfect sports to spread the disease. Every time you hit someone, you could potentially be expelling those particles. But he did say that it is definitely possible. And he said, especially with the NFL, you could have multiple testing days throughout the week and just make sure you separated out those who were sick from those who are not. Of course, we know that you can test negative, then eventually be sick, and that's why you'd have to do it multiple times. But if you could weed out certainly those people who we do know to be sick, it's possible to have a safe atmosphere. MLB is also playing with the same idea. Of course, baseball, a lot easier to socially distance than football is. But one thing that baseball has done is they have conducted a big study. Now, not themselves, scientists actually conducted a study with MLB, and they were looking for antibodies across MLB employees, not just the players, but employees all across the country. They thought it would be a good cross-section of people from all over the United States, and they found out that only 1% actually had antibodies. Again, those would be those cells that have been developed to fight the virus if you had already had the virus. Many people in the United States feel like they may have been sick back in early March or February or even in January and feel like they may have had a mild version of coronavirus. Well, according to the numbers from this study, it's not nearly as many people as we thought that have actually developed this. So science marches on. All right, history. Today, folks, you guys should have had your questions all wrapped up. Those are due, of course, so get those into Canvas. You also will have notes today on the start of Vietnam. Make sure you do the intro before you get to the start of Vietnam. For those of you who are checking in not on a daily basis like you should, make sure you're doing things in order so they make sense. Otherwise, the stuff that I'm talking about on that lecture isn't going to be 100% clear. Global, today's your final day. So today at some time, could be the end of the day, whenever you get it done, you need to have those 3 files in for your project. Remember your 3 files. It's your movie file, your Zoom or your Screencast-O-Matic like you're watching right now, whatever that is, your slide or PowerPoint file, and then you need to have in your works cited page. So all 3 of those in as soon as you can today. All right, that's it. Sun is shining today. Hopefully you can get your schoolwork done and get out there and get some sunshine.